Too easy, bitches. The bitches are too fucking easy.
Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Hope you're having a great day today. It has finally arrived, my dock build, and I have to say it was a bit tricky to find a build for him, but I think I found one that should make him a little bit more viable. During the making of this video, Season 2 also came out, so that kind of delayed the video because I wanted to be sure nothing changed my build. I'm happy to say that it didn't. The build is still completely viable, even with the changes, fixes, and additional content. Let's go over his abilities real quick, starting with this Trauma Station. This ability deploys a healing station in front of the dock that nearby allies can use to heal themselves with. It has a limited supply and is replenished by either you or a team member grabbing a medkit, and can be picked back up and redeployed somewhere else. It has several alternatives that we can go over once we head into the perk grid. His second ability is Combat Stims, and this ability, when used, increases the group's accuracy and stability by 50%, increases stamina regen speed by 30%, and increases the movement speed of everybody by 15%. These are significant boosts that can be further increased by taking specific perks in the perk grid. And lastly, Doc's passive is Field Medic. This passive allows the Doc to increase his own recharge speed by 15% for each nearby ally. That's a total of 30% if you stand near both of your allies. So huddle up and stay close. Before we dive into the perk grid, however, we need to look at the dock as a whole and figure out what the dock is lacking. If we look at the previous loadouts, they all have some form of damaging ability. The gunner has his overclock, the demo has his micro rockets, and the tech has his turret. The dock has none of those, so the damage has to come solely from his weapon. That means that we need to increase the weapon's strength to compensate for this lack of firepower. But not only that, the dog also lacks crowd control abilities, also known as CC. The gunner has his grenade if we use the disorienting blast perk. The demo has his blast wave, and the tech has his charged coils. Again, the dog has none of those abilities, so we need to compensate for that as well. The reason being is that at higher difficulties, the more important CC and damage becomes. You need to be able to stem the tide while also being able to take them out before they cross your area of crowd control. Luckily, we can get both from the perk grid. Starting off, we'll be taking the Suppression Station Replacer perk for our Trauma Station. This will change our Trauma Station into something similar to a text-charged coil, minus the throwing aspect, of course. Enemies caught in the Suppression Station have their movement speed decreased and their damage dealt reduced. This will help us slow down the horde and can even be used in conjunction with charged coils for even more movement speed reduction. So, now that we have our CC, we need to increase our damage output. Our only source of damage is going to be in the form of our weapons. This is primarily going to be your assault rifle. So, we'll be taking as many assault rifle perks as we can that boosts your DPS. Starting with the recon rifle training to increase our max ammo and weak point damage. The Doc Rifle Expertise for even more weak point damage. The added stability is a nice plus. The Gunner Rifle Mastery for even more weak point damage, with the accuracy being a nice plus. The Gunner Rifle Expertise for more stability and fire rate. The faster you fire, the higher your DPS. And the Recon Rifle Expertise for even more accuracy, stability, and fire rate. In total, these perks alone will give you 40% extra stability, 25% extra accuracy, 25% extra fire rate, 20% extra ammo, which is a big thing for higher difficulties, and a whopping 45% extra weak point damage. So go for the head. And that's not all, we can increase our DPS even further by taking Readiness with us. We get an additional 20% reload speed on top. The faster you reload, the faster you can get back into the fight, the higher your DPS. And not only that, but we're also taking Strength in Numbers as well for that 5% extra damage dealt for each nearby ally. That's a total of 10% extra damage just by sticking to your teammates. And on higher difficulties, you'll be sticking with your group anyway, so it's free damage. Alright, so we have the CC, we have the damage. What else do we need? Well, what about the ability to speedrun through missions? Oh, yes, that's right. You can speedrun through missions with a dock.
I won't let you
You can do this by using combat stims in between fights. The combat stims on its own isn't really that powerful during a fight. Sure, you can use it to get out of sticky situations or to complement the gunner's overcharge ability, but mostly you'll be using it in between fights to allow the encounters to happen faster, allowing you to get through the mission faster. The first perk we're going for is Overdose. This doubles the effectiveness of combat stims and gives it a 50% duration increase. The downside though is that the recharge time is now twice as long. Luckily, we still have room for solutions. Take the 3-grid recharge speed perks that'll lower the recharge speed back to 8%. But let's not forget Readiness, the perk we took for the reload speed. It also has a 10% recharge speed buff, so the 8% you see for combat stims is, in actuality, 18%. And not only that, we still have room for Migraine Solution. Since we're increasing our weak point damage a lot, we might as well take a perk with us that benefits from our weak point kills. Migraine Solution shaves off 1 second from combat stims for every weak point kill we get. Ooh, well, that's the perk grid done. Let's take a look at the viable weapon options. For the rifles, I recommend the Pulse Rifle, the Heavy Assault Rifle, or the Kramer. However, if you want, you can also play the Doc as a sniper and take the Twilight, the Scout, or the Ballista Flechette with you. For both the Pulse Rifle and Heavy Assault Rifle, I recommend going with the Ported Compensator, the Alloyed Magazines, and the Laser Sight. For the Kramer, go with the Ported Compensator, the Casket Magazines, and the Hybrid Sight. For the Twilight and the Ballista Flechette, go with the Calibrated Hider, the Armor-Piercing Rounds, and the Tactical Scope. And for the Scout, go with the Calibrated Hider, Armor-Piercing Rounds, and Laser Sight. For the handgun, you have an equal amount of options as well. I recommend the Kramer Magnum, the Type 95, the Type 78, the Rapid Responder, or the new Frontier Revolver. For the Kramer Magnum and the Type 78, go with the Slide Compensator, Drop Magazines, and the Laser Sight. For the Type 95, go with the Slide Compensator, Drop Magazine, and Hybrid Sight. For the Rapid Responder, go with the Ported Compensator, Alloyed Magazines, and Hybrid Sight. And for the new Frontier Revolver, go with the Slide Compensator, the Rapid Dispersal Unit, and the Hybrid Sight. And lastly, for consumables, I always take Cryo Grids for more CC and Vulnerability Assessment Drones with me for more team-wide DPS. And that's it, guys. We changed the Doc from being somewhat of a meme into a true powerhouse capable of standing on its own. It has the CC, the team synergy, the speed, the damage, and more importantly, it still heals. Behold, the Speed Boost Medic. Of course, you can take this build in any mission, even the tricky ones. It struggles on none of them. And to be frank, the harder the mission, the more it shines. Give this build a try and see how powerful it truly is. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more Aliens Fireteam Elite builds, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you never miss another upload. And I'll see you when I see you.
I cannot leave the ship without ammo.
This game is just 40 gigs of pure bullshit. I'm dashboarding.